Bueno, mi gente, yes, this is Willie King, Stop the Madness Eternera, and it's Stop the Madness Latino show on WRIR 97.3 FM, brought to you by Cause and Effect. Oye, ese es la nuevecita straight out from the studio, bien caliente, that is still burning my computer, Stop the Madness. Ese es Amical Buscan Reposida a Borinquen. Listen, there's a lot of stuff going on with that feel, that love of Puerto Rico, ser latino, con mucho cariño. And let's go with some mucho cariño. Vamos a darle un gran aplauso como se lo merece a Noel Vargas, que estamos aquí aquí en la línea. What? Noel, what's going on, papi? ¿Cómo está?
Todo bien, brother. A little under the weather, but I'm good, man. Thank you for having me here, brother.
That's all. Listen, it is an honor for me, for us. It is a pleasure for our listeners to understand the things that go behind that scene that not everybody knows. So, Noel, before anything, I was going to say how you doing, how you feeling, how's your family doing, but I already know how you feeling. How's your family? ¿Cómo está la familia?
Everybody is good, man. Thank God. You know, it's a little cold that just became a bigger bug last night and today, but I'm getting there, man.
Stop the madness.
I'm back to normal, man.
Hey, so tell us a little bit about, to our audience that are listening, who is Noel Vargas?
Noel Vargas, man. I'm a composer, arranger, producer. Been writing for quite a while. Love salsa genre. Opened my record label in 2012. Wow, there were still other record labels out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just opened it so I could have more creative freedom as to what I wanted to record. During that time, it was so hard because record labels were going down under, man. Huffy Mercado went down.
Yeah.
And nobody was really playing anything. So this allowed me to have control of my own music, decide who I wanted to record, and be creative.
Right.
Not have to sit down in a room and have them tell me, no, you can't do that. That's nothing now. That doesn't work in this industry. You have to do this or you have to do that. Since I write my own songs and I do my own arrangement, I like to just express my music my way, not the way somebody behind the desk is telling me that that's not really Latin. And that was the problem back in those days.
Stop the madness. So you've been so what is it to say? How many years have you been in this being a producer?
Being a producer from 2012 onwards.
Okay.
I started around 2012. I started writing when I was very young. I was about 13, 14. But I started writing Latin music based on a chance encounter with a friend of mine, a musician that was playing with Mark Anthony. He wanted a song. He wanted to present Mark some songs, and I wrote a song in English. And he was like, nah, man. And it's Spanish. And I'm like, I can't even speak Spanish. Right? So,
stop the madness.
So there I started writing in Spanish. Then I got connected with Willie Colon, and I just kept learning more and doing more. From there, I was writing something for Tito Puente, and Frankie was part of the band. And unfortunately, Tito passed away, and I just stood with Frankie. Frankie's still with the orchestra, and we kept working together from there.
Oh, wow. So in other words, you got a good history behind you, the legends that you have worked with.
Yeah, man. I remember Heto Lavo is my son's godfather.
Stop the madness. Godfather. Okay.
So it was. I was surrounded with a lot of Latin music figures back then. So got exposed to it, fell in love with it, and then just started doing my own thing.
So that kind of really motivates you in the direction of producing your own stuff. Now, so you said you started writing at a very early age. Now, is any of that music that you've written currently being, have you recorded some of that stuff from those back in the days?
There was some. There was one. Obviously, I was very young. My brother was the person that had the name on everything. There was a song called by a group called TK called Come Get My Love.
Oh, Stop the Madness. Stop the Madness.
And,
I remember that one, yeah.
that was, it was really, my brother was the one that, he was a DJ, so he was the one and all of that, but I was just in the room, and I was like, yeah, I could write, I could hear, try this, try that, and stuff like that.
How was that experience, man?
It was cool. You know, I was 14. I was getting into the clubs. I would go in the van with La India, with Lisa, with Mark, with Little Louis Vega, and we would go to the clubs, man. All the clubs during those days, the Fun House and all these other clubs out there. So it was an experience. I really didn't appreciate it or felt in any kind of way. It was just like, yeah, I'm having fun. You know, it wasn't until I was older where I really started appreciating the music and being a composer and expressing myself.
Yeah, nice. Wow, Stop the Madness. So you definitely come from a amazing background, put it that way. And your experience had taught you through the years, en los años, cómo grabar, how to go about your recording. You know, because people, this is the thing that people don't actually see, because a lot of it is kind of hidden secret until it comes out. Boom, it's out. You know what I'm saying? So the secret's involved in this. So what is it that is so secretive when you're recording in the studio? That's not something that you want to go publicly live on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna post live. This is what I'm working. What's so secretive about it?
That doesn't work with me. That's with most people, that they all want to be secret about this stuff. And
okay.
You know, I post a lot of my clips of stuff
you do.
I'm working with.
Yes, you do.
And people tell me, you crazy? I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm being creative, and I want to share my creativity. I don't care whether people hear me making it. It's a process. I mean, sometimes I'll post a song when I'm first starting it. I'll post a 1-minute clip. When they hear the whole song, they'll be like, wow.
Yeah.
And it's you know, I tell you, I started producing because there was no compatibility. I found that me as a composer, I was expressing my emotions, or I was just, trying to write a story into a song.
Okay.
And then I had an arranger that was trying to write his own story to my lyrics. And then we had a producer that was trying to produce it with his own vision. So it became a challenge because the stuff I would write wouldn't come out the way I wanted at the end. So I started getting tired of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I need to produce my own thing. But then the same problem started happening with arrangers. So I was like, I really need to learn to arrange. So I started with Fruity Loops. That's how I started arranging salsa music. Just trying to get my sound, what I had in my head, into the song. And every time I write a song, I write it, yo le escribo con la melodía. And the whole arrangement is in my head. I don't write the lyrics and try and come up with a melody. No, I write everything in my head, and everything comes up in my head, where the brass section goes, where I'm going to do a riff, everything, and then I put that into paper, and I immediately make it into an arrangement.
So when you're doing this, in other words, how I'm getting it, because so like that the audience could understand that there's different responsibilities. Like the arranger is someone. It's like different jobs, different job responsibilities. And when you're doing a recording, or you got your arranger, right? That's one person. Then you got the composer. That's another person. And then you have the mastering. That's another person. Then you got the producer. That's another. And am I seeing it that way?
Yeah. It's broken down into many, many roles.
Okay.
Unless you have complete control. If you're the executive producer, you determine who you're going to use.
Okay.
Most people will write a song, and they'll send it to someone for someone to do the arrangement. The arranger will send that arrangement back to the composer or the singer that just got a song from someone. They send it back to the artist. The artist goes to a studio and says, look, I want to record this. Okay, who's going to produce it? Most of the times now, the person that's there recording the artist is producing the song.
Okay.
Then whether that person recording is a true engineer or not, he will have to send it out to somebody that's going to do the mix. Then after you do the mix, then you have to do the mastering, which is a completely different job. So you got your recording engineer, you got the person that's mixing, and you have the person that's doing the mastering.
Okay.
You have your producer that's overseeing the whole thing. You have your composer, which is the one that writes the lyrics and most times puts the melody. And then you have your arranger that makes the arrangement of all the instruments to respond to the lyrics and the melody.
Okay. All right. So so in other words, it's a team effort, and how important it is the communication between the team.
I think that, and this is one of the problems in the industry, especially today where most people are recording from home. I think the communication is important between the producer and the team. You can't have, everybody can be a sheep and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Right.
The producer says, I want this. And the producer has to be hands-on and saying, well, I didn't like this. Hey, can we fix this in the vocals? Maybe this ain't the way I want it, the sound to come out. Everybody needs to communicate with the producer so that the producer produces the best possible product for the fans. So you don't have the arranger speaking with the composer. That doesn't make sense. The engineer, the recording engineer, is not going to speak with the arranger or the composer or the artist. They should be speaking to the producer so that the final product is what they are expecting.
Okay. So in other words, the producer is the hierarchy.
Yes.
Okay. So he's pretty much the controlling the way of flow of communication and job and the direction that you want this hit to go.
Exactly.
That's what's up.
There's few producers out there that do everything. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Sergio George, he is the producer. He also does the arrangement. And he'll go in there and somebody else will record all of that. Sergio's just there listening and producing. And he doesn't compose, he arranges, and he produces. And he comes out with these great hits. Why? Because he's on top of things and he knows what he wants. Mm-hmm. And the bottom line is, until he don't get that product sounding the way he wants it to sound, he's not going to be satisfied.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have, not only on top of that, you got to have the experience that go with it. A huge amount of experience because, it's not, no es algo fácil que alguien se puede tirar en el estudio y grabar algo y a sacarlo. When you're wasting your time, you're wasting money. Yeah. And I do believe that's why I love having these interviews, Noel, because we need, I think it's our responsibility, especially when you got radio stations like this, or even social media platforms, or when they do podcasts, that people do listen, and you don't want them to go into the studio wasting valuable time and money, and then you distribute something that's not even, it's not even worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, today it's so hard to work. Well, I do everything with the exception of mixing, mastering, and if I'm in Florida, I'll do the recording with my partner over there, with Eric Maldonado. I don't do the mixing and the mastering. That's not for me. Mm-hmm. I have bad ears. So if I was to do that, it would be a disaster. I would never get the product.
Okay, I got you.
I do produce every single tune. I do produce it, I arrange it, and I compose it. And I'm the executive producer, so the buck stops with me.
Okay.
But there's in this, besides the fact, I have a show that I do weekly. It's called Primicias, where I just release 10 songs, the latest songs.
Yeah.
In salsa. And those 10 songs are a challenge for me because I get anywhere from 100 to 200 songs a week. And they are so poorly produced that I can't even put it on the show. My people will leave the channel.
Yeah.
So this is a problem. Everybody needs to understand their role and stay in their place. The singers need to concentrate concentrate on singing. If you got this guy producing you and you trust him, then you just need to listen. The arranger needs to stay in arranging and just keep it like that, because it's the big problem now that a singer wants to be a composer and arranger, a producer, and wants to be the mixing guy and the mastering guy, and then we get a saturated market where, you know, people start claiming that Salsa is in trouble. Trouble when you saturate it with inferior products. I mean, if you love hot dogs and everybody and their mothers is selling hot dogs where you live at, and they are 95% of them are bad, you're going to stop eating hot dogs because you're not going to chance it. You're going to switch your meat to burgers or something else.
Yeah, that's a good analogy there. Yeah. That's a good one, man. That's a good one, Noel. Stop the madness. All right, so the big responsibility for all this, putting this all together now, I'm glad you, I love the Somos Salseros. That music that you did, that with the lyrics, Somos Salseros, with all those artists, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a madhouse, and I'm glad I got that song. I love it, and I'm glad I have you on interview, because then we could definitely put this together. Noel, all these artists that came together all in one song. How's that madness even controlled? ¿Cómo tú controlas eso?
Te digo de nuevo, I only work with people that trust me.
Right.
If they don't trust me, I have no business working with them.
Okay.
So when I say, listen, I have this project, and they're like, let's go, they don't question anything. I go to the studio, I'm like, okay, maestro, hazme esto. They do it. If I don't like it, I'm like, no, vamos a hacerlo así. They do it. And then the end result ends up being something like what we got there.
Yeah.
And all of these people that have recorded, well, most of them, 90% of them have worked with me before or have asked to work with me, have come to me, come on, let's do something together.
I got you.
So they understand that, I joke around, I laugh and everything, but when it comes to music, I am extremely firm and very precise about what I want to hear. I'm a perfectionist.
Right.
I need to hear it a certain way. So when I approach them, everyone, I tell you, I did this track in 2019. We are in 2025.
Stop the madness.
And I didn't record it until now because I needed to have the right people in the track. So as I found different individuals that I felt was a good addition to the track, I went in and I recorded part of it. So this recording has been a year and 2 months in the making.
Wow, okay.
And I will record one person's voice, another person, and then I wait for someone else. Okay, let's record this. I went to Gotti. We were there doing a gig in March, and there I recorded Amica Boscan and Frankie Vasquez. And then I came back home, and I recorded Frankie Morales. I had Jose Cheo Torres record from Puerto Rico. I sent him the track. Van Lester and Javier Luis, we drove up to Connecticut to record.
Okay.
And Luisito Rosario and Karim Santos, those were the last two editions. They recorded in their collective phrase. Karim in Texas and Luisito Rosario in upstate in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
And then I took all of that together, put it together, extended the song. First, I had it at 8 minutes something, brought it down to 5 minutes. I was like, some of my colleagues were like, yo, I got to be in there, please. I'm like, okay. I brought it up to 6, and then it finished at 7 minutes, pero es 7 minutos de...
7 minutos, exacto, yeah. That's madness. Hey, it's just in a way for people like who are not too much in trying to get new into the music business, try to understand the music business, especially when it comes to the recording portion of it. To put all this together with those are amazing salseros. I know some of them, but some I know now. Never heard from them, never heard of them, but makes me curious to go out and look for them, listen to their music, what songs have they recorded before in the past, and the collaboration that does, it widens your audience, and you're pulling in more of followers. So that's just madness what you did there. It's to me it's priceless to put these madness salseros and come up with one product. And it's bugged out because everybody's recording it in different locations. Even in Colombia, bro. Stop the madness.
The whole idea of this song is the title, Somos Salseros.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say with this song and what we was accomplishing with this song was bringing in some of the new blood, the current generation, let's say. I'm not going to say new blood. Current generation, and match them with some of the legends out there. I mean, Cabo Kang he's like a king in Colombia. I mean, this guy is incredible. Frankie Vasquez, es un héroe de barrio. Frankie Morales,
these are legends.
Lester,
yeah,
legends.
Yeah.
And then I got some people that just started the last couple of years, or they are still trying to get a foothold. Incredible talent.
And Noel, hold that thought, Noel. Let me do a station ID.
You are listening to WRIR LP 97.3 FM Richmond.
All right, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. So then I got Jose Cheo Torres, Luisito Rosario, Javier Luis, Karim Santos. So what happens with this fusion? Because that's what it is. People that are following the hundreds of millions of followers that Cabo Kang has, now are exposed to Javier Luis, to Luisito Rosario, to Karim Santos, to the new guys, right?
Yeah.
And people that follow Luisito Rosario and may not have heard of Cabo Kang get to listen to him. So it worked out great, and there's it got so much noise all over. I mean, everywhere. That I've decided that there's going to be a Somos Salseros salsa album where every one of those singers are going to sing their own salsa song written and arranged by me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Amica's going to write with me as well. So it'll be a Somos Salseros Navideño. And
stop the madness. Nice.
Yeah, and I actually already written all the songs for the album.
Uh-huh.
So
Man,
that's the next thing for them.
Stop the madness. That is nice.
That's going to be great, man.
Wow. I could imagine.
This continues. This starts something new because I don't believe salsa is there. I believe, the genre is saturated. I think if we focus more on the good music from all these artists, Leo Polanco has some great hits. Luisito Rosario he's been great for a long time. All these guys, Jose Cheo Torres, Javier Luis, they've all been doing great work. If we focus on playing that music and supporting that music, then we have a chance. We have a chance of keep making an impact and growing the genre.
I do think, and one of the things that a frustration que la gente siempre dice en las páginas sociales o donde quiera que digan que la salsa se murió. No, the salsa never died. It never died. It's there, and it's, to me, how I see it, it's growing. Different sounds are coming out. Different artists are coming out. Even legends are coming out with new swing salsa. It's there. It's just how I look at it is that la gente, they too stuck, and I have to say too, the DJs, they're too stuck on the past. You gotta love the history of salsa, where salsa came from. With Hector Lavoe, and you got Frankie Ruiz. And of course you still got the Gran Combo de Puerto Rico that's just globally But the thing is, there's so much nueva salsa buena, salsa con ritmo, salsa para mambo para bailar, que la gente they still stuck on the past, and I just it's mind blowing.
It is, man. I tell you one thing. I speak a lot with Tito Nieves, and we have conversations about this all the time. And the way he replies to me when I tell him, "Yo, that's why people are saying such as this." I can't even say on air. Okay, so that's how it is. He's like, "No, people just need to listen. There's so much great music out there."
Agree.
And they just need to listen.
Yes.
The DJs. It was funny because back a few years ago, there was a lot of stuff going on with all these internet radio stations. And they were like, the regular radio station, they want payola, they want this, they want that. So we can't get our music on there. So now we're going to be the ones that's going to make sure that the new artist gets exposed. Well, guess what? Last 18 months, many, I'm not going to mention which ones, but probably 70% of these radio stations have come to me and said, Noel, throw me something. Throw me a couple $100 and I'll make sure I play it. And I put it on my list. I'm like, you put it on your list? Where's your list? Is that going to a Grammy? So it's kind of like, it went from there to where we are now. Where
Agreed.
Everyone, these are the people that are making it so difficult for us. They just won't do it because it's good.
And something that's illegal. It's definitely legal, and I know it's going on. I know a lot of DJs that are personally that play at these big radio stations, and it's definitely illegal to be doing something like that. But it's one of those things, que no mira, que no dice, no habla, no, I guess one of those things you get away with it. But I do believe, man, there's just so much beautiful salsa out there, and so many, and you got like Luisito Rosario. I love that one, the latest one from Luisito Rosario. Te dejo volar. It's madness. Yo, I watched that video and I started like, oh my God, I thought a tear came down, bro. It's just madness. And then the one with one of your artists too, Javier. He's madness. He's madness. So that salsa that are being created. If people could focus, the audience. That's why the DJs are the ones that is out there. We play the music as DJs, and we gotta show people that love. And it's funny, Noel, that we're talking about this, porque I had a conversation when I was DJing, and I had an individual tell me, "Why ain't you playing old school salsa?" I'm like, because there's new salsa, and I was kind of compared with other DJs. Well, these DJs play classical salsa, and you're not playing it. To me, that was a Stop the Madness episode right there.
Yeah, it's I do hear a lot of people play a lot of the classics, and it goes back to the radio stations in Puerto Rico and even in New York, where they saturate the radio station with the old school salsa, but you don't hear none of the new guys. And if you do, it's because they have a couple extra bucks to get themselves played, and it's unfortunate. On the DJs right now, everybody that has a radio, a Facebook radio or a Facebook program, thinks he's a DJ, and it's the same thing. I mean, I believe they need to be more selective on what they play and give these talents, a shot.
Because it's good salsa. Although I love the classics too. I love the classics, but I know also that there's so much new salsa from amazing artists like Somos Salseros. You got that music just really kind of inspire you to continue on promoting salsa. Songs like that, collaborations like that.
I be honest with you. Somos Salseros is a small group. You got the J. Ramos, you got the WRIR, you got so many talented Ariel Gonzalez, so many super talented.
Yeah.
If this was the 90s, they would be mega stars right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Super talented individuals out there that nobody plays. There's times I'll do a show for 2 hours just playing my music, and I fill up every minute of the show, and I still got 30 people in there, and I'm like, no, I gotta go. And they want me to keep playing. I got about 700 songs right now in my catalog. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like I don't need the classic. I love the classic, but I gotta expose the new stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay Ramos, he's definitely a good salsero, man. Definitely he's a veteran, so God bless his heart, man. Beautiful. Hey, okay, so with all this in the music business, in the recording studios, collaboration, you did a collaboration. What is your professional opinion when it comes to collaborating with other artists?
That's a tricky one. If you're gonna do it, try and do something really good, and try to limit yourself. You want to do a collaboration? Fine, do one every couple of years, every 4 years. Why? When it's time for you to dig, you're not gonna have that artist there. I mean, who are they going to hire? You or the other person? I mean, you got to have your own repertoire. You got to have your own fresh repertoire that you could go to a gig and play songs. Mm-hmm. I would love to see more collaboration between the old school, the legends, and the new guys.
Agree.
That's the only way I would say that makes sense to collaborate. If you got Tito Nieve and he say, vamos a hacer algo. Okay, great. Now you're going to get exposed to those fans, right? Unfortunately, not many people are doing that.
Yeah.
Not many people are doing it. Most of the collaborations right now are between people at the same area, trying to get broken in and get some followers. I mean, that's why this project with Somos Salseros was very important, and I held it for so long because I wanted to get some legends out there, and I wanted to get some new guys and put them together and make something nice out of it. But do I want to do that for every single artist I work with? No.
No, yeah.
I think you as an artist needs to build a foundation, needs to have your own signature and who you are as an artist. And once you have that established and people recognize you, then you can move on and do different collaborations.
Right. Stop the madness. That's pretty on point with that one, collaboration. I always believe that, like you said, para mí yo creo que the old school salseros or salseras collaboration with the new wave to at least when you go concert open up have them open up for you or do a couple of songs with them. I do believe because los salseros de ante they little by little we're losing them. You know what I'm saying? So
what's gonna happen then?
And the work continues on. Nothing's gonna stop. This doesn't stop. It continues. Just because you pass away, the world continues moving on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
that's the other thing with a lot of these people doing cover songs, and I try to tell them, hey, man, try and stick to some new material. There's so much great new material. Because you can only do a cover so many times before people say, is that it? That's all we got? That's that. Where's the new stuff?
Yeah.
It's hard, and you also got to look at the drama behind the artist management. I mean, listen, even people that are not up there, everybody has a different personality.
Right.
Everybody has different expectations, different goals, egos. And sometimes that's what breaks it. I mean, if you can't have to. You see, I recorded everyone separate because it's a smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Only two people I recorded together was Javier Luis and Van Lester, Amica Bocan, and Frankie Morales, because I work closely with them. But I wouldn't want someone's ego to get into someone else.
Yeah.
Right? And they say, oh, I'm not doing this. That's where you get the broken commitments. They were all for it, and all of a sudden, their ego got hurt, and they're like, no, I'm not getting into it. I'd rather record them separately than put it all together and do something nice.
Yeah, because at the end, who's the producer?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? There's only one management, one archive that's up in the high. So that's awesome. All right, so we got that out the way. I don't want to keep you too long, Noel, because I know you're under the weather. And just one more question that I do believe is very important, coming from somebody who produces like you do, with your experience, madness experience that you have. What is the importance of registering your music?
I tell you, the first thing that's the most important is registering your record label. Okay, if you're planning to release under your own name,
mm-hmm.
none of these guys. I look at everyone; they're all releasing under so and so music, but none of them have a patent and trademark office registration. Okay. None of them are on the state's business registry. Okay. It's like they're so-and-so music, but when you go and look for them, you don't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
So now they're not even protected by the government.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And registering their songs, man. I mean, I learned that a lot of my colleagues think that they register it on ASCAP, that they have a legal registration. No, you need to go to copyright.gov.
Mm-hmm.
In order for you to fight something in court today, if someone stole your music and you want to fight it, it must be registered in copyright.gov. If not, it's not yours. Now you got to do a lawsuit, and it's no longer a criminal offense, right? Now it's a lawsuit between you and someone else, which you have to pay for litigation, you have to do all this stuff, and prove in many ways that was your song before it was his. If it's registered in copyright.gov, you get your certificate. You take that to court, that person gets a fine, and they have to pay you
whatever they made.
Your music.
Yeah.
So it's very important to look at everything. Not only that, if you've been singing for other groups, then you need to get us on Song Trust. You need to go to mlc.org. These are all registration portals.
Nice.
Where even if you're doing backups, vocals, solos, a portion of that goes to you.
Yeah.
Now, what they don't tell you is that PROs take that portion, that cut, automatically, and they put it into a black box until someone claims them. So if you are the backup singer, your money is there.
Interesting.
But you don't know it because you never registered in SoundCloud. You never Song Trust. You never registered in MLC. You didn't register in all the other PRO collectors. So if you don't do that, you're not going to get paid for your music. And these guys need to understand what a split sheet is.
Yeah.
If you're creating a song, you need to create a spreadsheet. Okay, I'm doing chorus. Okay, here, write down the split sheet that I did chorus. I'm the arranger, write it down there.
Yeah.
This way you get credit. If one of those songs blow up, gets a Grammy, you get nothing.
Yeah. It stopped the madness.
There's no split sheet.
Yeah. Stop the madness. That's very important. I'm glad we're covering this stuff. So like that, la gente que están allá afuera que quieren meterse en el negocio, to understand that it's not something you just jump in the studio, record, and then you go out and make some CDs and that's it. It's a lot of work, and I do think people do think that, I do believe that people think that, it's que es un proceso bien, whatever, I got this.
You know what happened when these companies such as DistroKid, CD Baby, 2 came out?
Yeah.
They made it seem so simple, but they never gave you the bottom line. You know, they say, yeah, we're gonna distribute your own music. You're your own boss.
Yeah.
You're just putting music out there. You're really not owning your music.
Yeah.
Who owns the masses? The masses is the most important thing, man.
Yeah.
What publishing company are you releasing this with? I mean, that's what gets paid for the next 35 years.
Ain't that something?
Regardless of who sings it. If I release a song with Javier Luis, and I'm the publisher, and then let's say Jerry Rivera, Tito wants to sing that song because they didn't make noise with Javier, but it's a great song. He sings it. I still get paid for the next 35 years.
Yeah. Stop the madness,
so all these things they need to look at. I mean, it's
very important.
A little research, especially if you're releasing and you're writing your own music, you should definitely
gotta do your homework. Yeah, gotta do your homework, definitely. Listen, Noel, Vargas, thank you so much for VMP Records. What does VMP stand for?
Vargas Music Production.
Stop the madness. I was like, man, what is it? It was driving me crazy. Mira pa allá how simple it is. Stop the madness. Listen, Noel, thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. It's a blessing that we get this information out there to everybody. So, lo que están escuchando, if this is something you're interested, it's something that you want to do, listen, it's not just as easy as dotting your I's and crossing your T's. It's a lot of work. And there you go. There you have it. Vargas told us the things behind, the crazy things behind the scenes. And Noel, mille de gracias. I hope you feel better, welcome. Man. I hope you feel better. Thank you, we're going to continue on con la rumba. And with this little project that we got going on, I'm excited, man. And just, I do think it's I got a feeling about it. Stop the madness.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me. And thank your fans, too, for getting on and listening to us, man. It was a pleasure being here with you anytime. Ya tú sabes, give me a call, brother.
Oh, man, thank you. Noel, gracias. Cuídate, and I hope you feel better, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
All right, bye.
Take care.